What's up everyone, welcome back to Versatile Fun Designs. Today I have the LEGO Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack. Of course it's a Star Wars set, 7+, 215 pieces, and the main reason you're getting this set is for the minifigures. Yes, that's right, this time I built this set as usual without the instructions, and I'll show you the minifigures first because that's what most people care about. Then I'll go back in time and show you the build process, how I built this without the instructions, and I'll talk more about the build experience. Alright, so we have here 9 minifigures, 4 full minifigures with the heads and torsos and so on, and 5 of these battle droids or Super Battle Droids. So these ones are the standard clone troopers. We've seen them forever. They all have the same face, front, no alternate expression as usual. I'll actually remove this to make it more clear. These are our standard clone trooper. The printing is nice, it's crisp, it gets the job done with nothing limited edition or super special, anything like that. Helmet holes, they are what they are. You probably have an opinion about them at this point if you know what these are even. Long story short, LEGO changed them and a lot of people are unhappy about it. And just to be clear, these pieces here that I'm using for the stand are not included in the set. You have to get them separately or from your own collection. The highlight, I guess, of this set is the Clone Shock Trooper. I do believe you've been able to get this guy in other sets from last year, but they've been more expensive. At least in North America. In Europe, they might have like those foil packs. So nice red printing here. The red on white looks really nice. And same angry clone face here, just like all the others. Nothing really special when it comes to that. Sorry for the focus, it keeps trying to focus on the background. So here's a look at the minifigure from all angles. And of course, helmet with the helmet holes. Not a big surprise at this point. The battle droids, we've seen them before when I was doing the Star Wars Advent Calendar last year. Here's a look again in case you missed that. And I guess one of the more interesting minifigures or figures in this set is the Super Battle Droid, which we have not seen since 2011. It's nice to see these make a comeback. So I actually have not tried this before. Yeah, like if I take this random plate, not included in the set, and see basically what are the connection points at the back, because I'm personally not familiar with this design. Can we attach this to some LEGO studs? Maybe one stud? I think the answer is no. I'm trying to like attach it, but there doesn't seem to be a way to attach it. If anyone thinks otherwise, please correct me in the comments down below, but I think these are not meant to be attached to at least the usual studs. I'm sure there might be some random part that can fit here, but not the random LEGO, not the standard LEGO studs. So yeah, these are the minifigures for this battle pack. This is the main thing that you're paying for. I think it's a decent selection. It's a good way to army build. You do get a lot of stuff on the side, but the stuff on the side is pretty useful as well. Maybe you don't need 400 copies of this stuff, but it's nice to get at least 1 or 2, I think. So starting with this thing here, it's basically, it holds some weapons, it holds some shields. As you see at the back of the box, you can take this and use it for defense, like so. And there's also more clips to hold on to weapons, and there's also a stud shooter. So this basically shoots out studs. I'm not going to demonstrate it right now. I have a stud shooter loaded over there. I'll show in just a moment, but basically this would shoot studs outwards to the other end of the room where you're never going to find them. So that's it for this little build. And this came together fairly quickly. You have this speeder that sits 2 figures actually, because one of them sits at the front, as you would expect, and the other would sit backwards at the rear, like so. Just have to take off this box, and there we go. With some creative thinking, you might be able to fit 3 people here. You might need to modify things. I said I would show you the stud shooter. Basically this, I'm just going to shoot it here, and hopefully it doesn't go too far. Yeah, it went over there. It basically shoots these studs, and they do provide lots of these in the set. So it's nice to shoot them around and play with your friends, if you have friends who are into Star Wars. So yeah, it's a nice little build, very simple. And you have this box with even more studs here, in case you ever need more. You have this thing that looks like an Imperial probe of some sort. It has these shooters are not as strong. I guess they can still do some damage. It has some posability, so for each leg, you can go all the way down like this. You transform into like a tall tower. It's fun to manipulate these, so you can make it stand really tall, like so. Just want to make sure I have it completely in frame. Yeah, there we go. Or it can be, the other extreme is to like make it very low, like this. Or you could have some useful combination, kind of similar to what is shown on the box. Oops, just make sure not to dismantle it while you're playing around with it. So yeah, this is fun. It's LEGO, it's fun to play with. Yeah, let's see what would be. Again, usually these would all need to match if we want this to be somewhat stable. So it's basically symmetrical along like these 3 legs. This came together in an interesting way. Watch the speed build that's coming up to see how that's done. You finally have this thing here that comes with a transparent stand, which is removable, so yeah, this one is a little bit, falls apart a little bit too easily. It's one of my critiques of it. There we go. I put it back. Yeah, so the stand comes off like so, and it can be used by a battle droid as shown here. Fairly simple build. And yeah, the stand is a useful addition. I do notice that there's a bubble here. If you look closely, I'll bring the focus on it. Yeah, there is a bubble here, like the good old days of the lightsabers that had bubbles. So it's kind of like a throwback. There's these two tiles that are printed. One of them is the standard one that's included in the parts list. One of them is like one of them is included in the, one of them is just an extra, because usually LEGO gives you two, or it gives you one more extra piece for these very small pieces. And you also get this, which is a dark pink with pearlescent, opalescent, or I'm not sure what it's called, metallic flake in it. So it has like this bluish sparkle. It's pretty cool. Not quite sure what it does. I don't know if it goes in here, or it goes in the box, or somewhere else that I'm not too sure about. But it's a welcome addition. I wish there was more than one though. It feels like some kind of power crystal. So now let's go back in time and I'll show you how I built all of this without the instructions. Most of these are pretty simple. This one's pretty interesting. So let's have a look. Alright, so in this set we actually get two manuals, very small manuals, one for the minifigs and these small side builds, and one for this larger build right here. And we get these numbered bags. It's strange to get numbered bags, and they're plastic bags, by the way, in North America still. So strange to get numbered bags for such a small set, but I do appreciate that. It helps with inventory and saying this part comes in this bag, etc. So this is bag 1, this is bag 2, and finally we have bag 3 right here, and obviously from these large pieces that this is going to be building this larger build here, and the other is for the figures. So without further ado, let's start building the bags in order, one by one. And for this one, I will not be needing the 360-degree view. I will just follow the box art. That should be sufficient. Alright, so let's start with bag 1. So in this bag, we get 3 copies of the same minifigure. Alright, so we're done with the build for this little vehicle right here, used by the clone troopers. The clone troopers also have weapons that they can use. I'll be assigning them just like what the box says. So alright, so I just forgot these at the back. So this is what this vehicle looks like from all angles. I'm gonna have the stud shooters right here. I forgot to insert this one here. Before another battle droid, and in the box art, one of them is holding this very large weapon. So let's give that to him. All right, and we get 2 of these in this set, as indicated in the box. Alright, so we basically finished the 2 side builds here for bag 2. We have this one here that accommodates a battle droid, at least according to the picture. It's a fairly simple build with a large part of it here built sideways. So that's pretty interesting to see. Moving on to bag 3, the final bag of the set, and the only one without minifigures. Totally random thought while I'm building this. This is not pre-planned. Doesn't this look exactly like a duck? I mean, look at it. Looks like a duck. Or maybe it's just very late at night and I'm seeing things. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But I do think the shape is there. This could be like an eye. This is the beak. And it's a little bit off over here, but I think it kind of gets the idea across that this is a duck. Alright, so we are done with the builds for this set. I already talked at length about the minifigures, so I won't go over them again. They're fairly simple in their build. These are a bit stiff, in case I didn't mention that already, but if you insert them more than once, it should be okay. This little side build here is nice and quick and easy to build. This one, a little bit more involved than what seems at first glance is like, oh, it's just a bunch of pieces, it comes together quickly. Figuring out how to link these parts together took a little bit of thinking, but I was able to get it right. And it has these shooters like so we can just press, I guess, with more force. Let's try that again. I'll just shoot at the box. Again, these are no match or no comparison with the stud shooters that we get on the speeder right here, but still a welcome addition nonetheless. And this was a fairly simple build as well. Let's have a look at it from all angles. These Dorito-shaped triangles at the front. Yeah, and I know people usually get these sets only for the minifigs and not really for the side builds, but the side builds in this case I think do add value to the set. They're not amazing or anything like that, but they are pretty decent, and I do see the possibility for customizing them according to your liking. It is Lego after all. This piece here, I don't know what it's for. Does it go in this box? Does it go in here? Am I just missing it? Let me know in the comments down below if you know exactly what this is. I have some level of Star Wars knowledge, but I would not consider myself a specialist by any means. So I don't want to look at the instructions to figure out just like where does this one particular piece go. And just to take a closer look at it, in case it's not covered by the more professional reviewers, it is dark pink with opalescent or iridescent like flakes inside, so it's pretty shiny. It has like this nice color to it. It's very good to see in person. It feels like a power crystal or something like that. So that's good to get. I wish we got more than just one of those. These prints are nice. Would have been nice to get more than just one of those also. Still good nonetheless. So that is it for the LEGO Star Wars Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack for this year. Thank you so much for tuning in to Versatile Fun Designs. As always, sorry for the Super Battle Droid there. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe as always, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.